Excellent. Hello, peeps. I am here with you today for the grand unleashing of not only one, but a series of podcasts. This is going to be so incredibly epic. This show is going to be awesome because you're going to meet some fabulous people that if you haven't met before, you have to get to know. And if you're interested in their topics, go to their podcast and check it out. So we are starting our official podcast launch party right now, and you're welcome to the show. So I'd like to welcome on my first guest, Michelle. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Michelle?
Good. Michelle went to the effort of putting together a PDF for you guys, so I'm going to put the link in the chat room. By the way, if you guys are watching this right now and you can't see the chat room, just click on my name and it'll take you over to my page and you'll be able to see the chat and you'll be able to interact with us, which would be fantastic. There's a Google link. Go ahead and take a look at that and you'll have all the links to all the shows we're going to be talking about today. So, Michelle, why don't you tell us what podcast you're working on and what's going on with you?
All right. So my podcast is called the Uncanny Linc. And I used to be in engineering and I switched over to intuition. So I'm combining physics and metaphysics together and applying it to business. So before anything is going to happen in your business, you can probably use metaphysics to figure things out and sort of fast track things, whether you're going to win or lose. Either way.
That sounds awesome. And are you set up as an interview or are you educating people or how does your show work?
So my show is interview as well as educational. I'm going to interview people and show you how physics and metaphysics act together and how you could have used metaphysics to see signs along the way. And can I give an example?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Sure. So I was debating whether or not I should go to New Orleans for a conference, and this was back in February. And as an intuitive, you can see through things. So I looked at it, and it looked pretty awesome. I said, it should go. I will meet some people, and it will be fun. It was a small conference. So I ran into Jay over there, and it just so happens that I used some of my psychic skills and I actually won the award. He had like a giveaway and I won it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Good for you.
So that brought me to San Diego for JVology. And from then on, I came on to launch a podcast. So even though it seemed like a small decision that whether or not I should go to a conference, there were a lot of links in it. And that's the Uncanny Linc.
That is quite the diverse background you have to go from physics into metaphysics. And I know that you're absolutely brilliant and you cover every color of the spectrum in between those two items. So very cool. Well, excellent. And we have your link to the podcast. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, so if somebody is interested in checking out how things work for them, they can go to my site, theuncannylinc.com, and take the quiz. And there's, of course, the link to the podcast.
Very cool. That'd be awesome. And everybody loves a quiz and loving to get to know yourself better. Awesome. Well, thank you, Birchall. Have an awesome, awesome day. And congratulations on kicking off your new podcast.
Thank you. Congratulations to you too.
Excellent. So we are going, like I said, one after another. This is going to be super fun. My next guest is none other than the incredible James Lamb. Say hello.
Hey, you forgot brilliant. Jay always calls me brilliant, even though I don't think I'm that brilliant. But there you go.
Well, you must be brilliant because technically I might consider you my competition, but I just absolutely think you're wonderful and people need to get to know you and all that kind of fun stuff.
We're not really competition. I mean, let's be honest. I bought you pizza and wine. That's pretty good, right? From your What other competitor buys somebody pizza and wine meeting them within a week and basically bribing them to say, tell me all your secrets and tell me everything you do? And not on a competitive level, but just so people know, Michelle and I know each other through JVology.
Yes. And apparently wine is my truth serum because you ask me anything and I just give you the answers. How to run a business, how to
works, doesn't it? It's like, what did you call it? The skeleton key? I think that's what it was.
Exactly.
I tell you what, Michelle, I shouldn't, I know we're going to get to the podcast thing, but I should do a podcast on wine. I just think that I would just have everybody enrolled. Wouldn't that be so much better? And imagine having guests on the show where I'd be like, this is the bottle that you're getting. It's a 2016 Bordeaux, whatever it is about to get. And you just sit there and drink wine and chat about it. That would be super cool.
I could totally do that. Absolutely. Right? Can I be your first guest?
Forget about being first guest. You run it with me, but then we'll spend all our money on sponsorship on wine. Let's be honest.
That's good. Between the two of us, I'm pretty sure we know some liquor stores and some wineries and some beer companies, and pretty sure we could handle that one.
That is true. Every Friday night, join Michelle Nadalek and James Lamb on wine tours around the world.
It'd have to be Friday or Saturday night, so I have time to recover. I know you're not supposed to drink the whole bottle, but if it's good, why not?
It's not as good on day 2. Anyway, sorry, that was a total side note. I did not mean to speak about it for that long, but there you go.
All good. You got 30 seconds left. So how'd you like to talk about your podcast?
Yeah, I guess I should probably talk about the real thing. Look, team, my podcast is called 3 Steps to Thrive. Every week, we bring successful and interesting business owners and entrepreneurs. They share a little bit about their background, and they also share 3 practical, actionable, and simple steps to either improve yourself or improve your company or improve your business. So those of you who are watching this, obviously follow and like Michelle and Brad. The good news is one of the first podcasts I'm releasing is actually with Michelle. So you understand the caliber of people that I'm actually speaking to. So I think it's super cool.
Nice. I love it. Love it. Excellent. So anything else you'd like to
add? Yes, I'm always looking for good guests. So if you yourself are interested in sharing your wisdom, and we always have a new and novel category. So if you're new, no problems at all. Everybody's been new at some point in time. Then just fill out the application. I will put it in the chat when I get a chance after this. One other thing is that I'm going to tell you right now, your chances of being on the show are momentously increased if you actually rate and review my show first. And
nice.
That's it. Yeah.
And send them wine. He likes that.
Exactly. Good talking to you, Michelle. Thanks, team.
Thanks, James. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye. Awesome. My next guest is none other than, popped away. Hey, it's not you. It's Mustafa. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Now I understand Jay's frustration that people leave the little slide bar slides. That's hilarious. So, guys, for those of you who don't know Mustafa, he is another one of our amazing competitors that I love dearly, and he's just brilliant. And just tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and what's your podcast.
So I specialize in one-page marketing plans, and what I do as a business coach. My podcast is Daily Confidence for Entrepreneurs. That's where we focus on sharing tips and tidbits on how to improve our confidence and self-esteem on a daily basis, and improve our confidence in different areas of business, such as sales, such as dealing with people, such as dealing with employees. So the whole thing is about confidence.
Ooh, and like real business issues? That's fun.
Yes, because as business owners, our confidence fluctuates on a daily basis. Even like in the morning, we wake up and then we're feeling good. We get a phone call, we're not feeling so good. And then in the afternoon, we have a glass of wine. All of a sudden, we're feeling good again. And,
But probably shouldn't be calling clients at that point.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That is excellent. One of the things that I find with entrepreneurs is that they feel like they're in this silo where there's nobody else there to support them. They can't go to their spouse because their spouse is going like, hey, aren't you wasting all our money and risking everything? And can't go to their kids, can't go to their family. Where do you go? Well, you go to a place like Mustafa's podcast, because you're going to get a ton of information on just the local, what I call crazy people that are crazy enough to think that they could become entrepreneurs and succeed at it. And we encourage each other and build each other up and make things happen for each other that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've got to maintain it. We got to, keep an eye on ourselves so that we can mentally stay, what you might call it, active and healthy, so we could run the business, because running a business is a tough task. And well, you got family and you got your team and everybody involved. You gotta go at it.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to your show. And
Thank
do
you
have any sage words of advice that you would like to share with our peeps?
Advice?
Well, or last words, whatever.
So I'm actually doing a giveaway. Whoever does a rating on our Apple podcast, I'm giving away tickets to our Simple Marketing Formula Bootcamp. We're doing a draw. And so if you do listen to the podcast, do a rating, we're doing a draw. This is a $2,000 workshop that you're going to get a ticket to.
Holy, nice. Yeah. Where do they get access to that?
To the
to your gift.
So as soon as they write a review, we're going to do a draw and we'll announce it and they could come back. And
it's that easy. They don't even have to go anywhere.
Yeah. We'll reach out.
Nice. That is super cool. Well, for those of you who can't see it, the Mustafa's link is in the chat bar there. And I just realized that I'm kicking people out early. So thanks for coming out, and I'm going to kick you out early.
All right. We're good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Mustafa. Excellent. So clicking along, going chickadee boo. My next guest up is Glory Alley. Hello, Glory. How you doing?
Hey, how are you? Good. It's exciting to be here. This is an exciting day for all of us, isn't it?
It is more exciting for some than others when you got to figure out how to have a 20-person Facebook interview.
Yeah.
That's all good.
I leave that to the pros.
Awesome. So tell us a bit about your upcoming podcast. This is fantastic.
All right. It's exciting. So my podcast is called Sisterhood of Successful Entrepreneurs, and it's for female entrepreneurs who are starting off in the entrepreneurial path, who are coming up against blocks, whether it be, self-sabotaging blocks, money blocks, whatever that is. So we're going to have weekly guests on the show who are going to have, we're going to have thought-provoking conversations. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about life and work balance. So it's super exciting. I can't wait. I already have 3 episodes on there, and it's just super exciting.
Nice. Good for you. That is fantastic. I was just watching a show on, I think it was Netflix last night, about women and coming together online. And I would imagine that since this whole COVID thing, that it's been even more intense, and women getting together online and supporting each other and everything. I think it's fantastic.
It is. And during this pandemic right now, there's a lot of women who are saying, you know what, this is the perfect time for me to start doing what I want to do and follow my path. So it's perfect. So I have a Facebook group called the Sisterhood of Successful Entrepreneurs, and that has been growing. And so we have a lot of support in that group. So it's awesome.
Oh, nice. That is fantastic. And yes, I've been a part of your group and eavesdropping, and there's just been a ton of activity in there and a ton of great ideas that absolutely love. And I was like, oh my God, yes, totally doing that today.
Yeah, we do a lot of accountability on there, but the group is awesome, very supportive. It's just a great place for women, entrepreneurs, or women who are just thinking about the entrepreneurial path.
Nice. So on your podcast, are you going to be interviewing people? Are you going to be teaching? What's your format?
We're going to do all 3. So I'm going to be interviewing people from, different areas of expertise in the entrepreneurial path. I'm going to be coaching as well. So I'll be coaching people on there as well. And then we'll have some monologues here and there. So, some panel discussions. So it's going to be super exciting.
Oh, that is very cool. That'll be fun. I've seen people being coached on stage, but I've never heard anybody being coached in a podcast before.
Coached on a podcast, yeah.
Oh, that's very exciting. Cool. Anything you want to leave for our peeps? Any last words?
Just, please subscribe, listen, download. If you like what you hear and you want to support us, then please write a review. And then you can visit us on Facebook in Sisterhood of Successful Entrepreneurs Facebook group.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it immensely.
Thanks,
and best of luck. Go and listen to Glory's podcast and make sure you give her a great review. Again, we like 5s. Awesome.
That's right.
Thanks, Glory.
You're welcome.
Kicked her out fast. Just totally rocking through this. I'm not even sure why. My next guest is on. Oh, wow, Robin, you snuck right in there. And poor Cherise is still waiting patiently, but hey, I will get to you, girl. I'll give you time. Don't worry. You'll get your spotlight.
That happened with the last show, too.
How you doing, Robin?
I'm doing well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for organizing this.
My pleasure. And it's been way easier now that I've seen Jay go through.
It's always great to be second, isn't it?
Exactly. I've learned so much. Now I look like a pro. It's awesome. Cool. So tell everybody, give us kind of the 5,000-foot view, who you are and what you do and what's your podcast.
I'm Robin McTague, Master Holistic Healer, and I love to bring together all parts of self so that we can be our best and have a life of freedom and choice and really be who we are and who we're meant to be in the world. So I use a bunch of different unique tools to do that. And
nice. Like what?
I use the Enneagram, the motivational map, thought field therapy, some inner child work, numerology, you name it.
Wow, nice. That's a nice variety.
Yeah, metaphysics, teach adults and children that as well. So
very cool.
Love doing that.
So does your podcast have a specific focus or is it general?
It's a life of choice, and it's really about we don't know what we don't know. So bringing awareness to understand our life in a fuller way. So often we keep parts of our life separate and we don't really know why we're doing that or why we feel uncomfortable. And so it's really understanding that true part of ourselves underneath all the ego defense mechanisms and different things that we're taught that we should or shouldn't be. And so to me, that's the freedom and choice, is to be who we want to be, do what we want, and be comfortable doing that and enjoy our life.
Nice. I love it. So do you have a kind of ideal audience or somebody that goes, oh yeah, I totally want that?
Yeah, I find a lot of times it's entrepreneurs that are, in that early phase of coming back out into the world in a different way. For me, I came from corporate into entrepreneurship and had to learn different ways of being in the world and building relationships and understanding what I needed and how I could be out there. And so I find it's a lot of people that really have that growth mindset and just aren't sure how to put the pieces together.
Very nice. I know I've asked a few others. So are you going to be interviewing? Are you going to be teaching? What's your format?
Both. Yeah, right now I'm just doing a lot of short educational kind of pieces, giving thoughts and ideas, hopefully for people to kind of take away and think about for themselves and how they can incorporate it in their lives. And then I'll be doing some interviews as well as to people who have made some kind of shift in their life and that new perspective.
Nice. I love that. Cool. So, and do you have any final words for our peeps out there that are thinking about watching your show?
Come and check it out. And I have started a Facebook community as well, because I'm really wanting to build community and take these ideas deeper. So if you're interested, come join me.
Nice. What's the Facebook page?
A Life of Choice Community.
Nice. I'm just going to type that in the box. Sorry, say it again.
A Life of Choice Community.
Awesome. There you go. Be easy enough to find.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time, Robin. I totally appreciate it. And best of luck with your podcast.
Thank you.
Excellent. So now, Cherise, how you doing, baby? And I'm like totally early. You're not due
You
for
really
like
are.
25 minutes. So now you
You
get 10
really
minutes,
are.
'cause, you know.
You're awesome. Yeah. Hi, Michelle. Hi, everybody.
So for those of you who don't know, this is the one and only, the incredible Cherise Alexander, and you have a wicked awesome fun show coming up. So tell people about it.
So I am the co-host of the TNG podcast, the #1 place in the Alpha Quadrant to geek out about all things Star Trek: The Next Generation. So I'm a little bit different from all the other shows you're going to hear about in this showcase because my show is not business oriented. It's actually just fun. It's a total passion project. It's just going over the wonder and nostalgia that me and my co-host feel when we think about or talk about Star Trek, which we do quite often. One of the things that's really fun about this show, though, is that for business, I'm also an entrepreneur. For business, I'm a business networking coach, and I really value connection and helping people connect better. And the way that we're going to grow our podcast is through leveraging those connections. So my big goal is for our show to be the #1 Star Trek TNG podcast in the world, which isn't hard because there's only 4 other shows. but that's still my goal. And I would like to do that using relationships. And so it's going to be a really fun case study.
That is awesome. So what kind of guests are you going to have on the show?
We're going to have so we've already had a couple interesting guests. We've had physicists on the show to talk about kind of the physics of, warp theory and all of this stuff. Yeah, of Star Trek, basically. So we like to say we want to talk about the science of science fiction. So that's pretty much what we're doing, because me and my co-host are also scientists. I'm a germ scientist. She's a marine biologist. We've invited like physicists and we're going to have an engineer on the show to talk about the engineering principles. And we kind of were like, is this possible? And a lot of times the answer is no, but still fun, still interesting.
Not yet.
Not yet. Exactly.
I'm of the age where, I know Captain Kirk and he was great fun. And I'm pretty sure they had the foresight to see everything that is the 21st century. So
yeah, it's
either that or we just, all the geeks love the show so much. And they're like, how do I make that? I want one.
Which I love makers. Yeah. On the show, on my show, we call it Treknology. Like all this cool technology that literally came out of Star Trek, like voice activated anything, touchscreen, anything, keyless, whatever technology. Yeah, all exactly. Comm badges that are so awesome. Michelle got me a working comm badge, people. Michelle sent me a working comm badge. It makes the little doot-doot sound, and it connects to my phone, and I can actually make calls on it. It's like, I showed my co-host, and she was like, what? Where do I get that? And she ordered it that same minute that I showed her. She was like, wait a minute. Nope. She goes on, she buys it, and she's like, yeah, she calls me when she got it. But anyways, yeah, it's really amazing.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. That was just super fun. And we should probably bring on Brad, because Brad is an advocate of TNG and he binge watches it over and over and over again.
Then we want Brad on our show. We have two categories of guests on our show. One category are the experts. So we're going to have makeup artists to talk about the makeup jobs on the show, costume designers to talk about making the outfits for the aliens. We're going to have all these different specialists. We're going to have actors and tell us about behind the scenes stuff. But also the other type of fan, the other type of guest we want are super fans. We want people who geek out about the show as much as we geek out about the show. We want people on the show to be like, what the heck? Why are they beaming through the force field? They just said you can't beam through a force field. Like, we want those people because there's not many places you can have that conversation, but our show is one of them.
That is awesome.
This is literally the last episode we recorded. That was my bone to pick. I was like, you can't beam through it, people.
That was awesome. When we did our personal development training on our live classes, one of the aspects of the course was understanding your reality, and made a ton of comparisons to the holograph room, because it operates, in my opinion, almost exactly like reality does right now. It's just that we create it, not the computers. But
I was thinking that the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, why can't we have it 3D though? That's the only thing we're missing, is for it to for us to go to the beach in our homes and feel the sand and the water. That's all we're missing.
I'm pretty sure we'll get there. There's not much missing there. That is so awesome. So because you garnered yourself a couple of minutes extra by hanging out with me, just tell me a little bit about it. How do you see this, or do you see this as kind of a business opportunity? Or, I get it's totally 100% fun, but is there any kind of strategy behind the plot?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have a ton of strategy behind the scenes for our show. I've been doing this entrepreneurial thing for like 5 years of just trying different things out. And so I've amassed a lot of knowledge that we can now deploy in this endeavor. My co-host is just kind of like, let's just talk about Star Trek. I'm cool with that. And I'm like, yes, and let's make this something really cool. So we have so many plans for how we're going to grow our listenership. One of the things we're going to do, so you guys can feel free to steal this if you have a podcast, is we're going to be reaching out to Facebook group owners and forum leaders who have a group of our ideal audience, which in this case are Trekkies. And we are going to invite them to be our guest experts on the show. And that's going to position them as experts because they are, and also give them reason to share it with their audiences. So without going into their groups and being super spammy and saying, hey, listen to my podcast, they're going to say, hey, I'm on this really cool podcast. You guys should listen, which is just like a win-win-win for everybody. In addition, we have a lot of cool, isn't that a cool, that wasn't my strategy. I got that from Pat Flynn. So I totally stole it from him, and I'm just sharing that fantastic idea because it like blew my mind. In addition, we're going to have some cool events, virtual, maybe someday live, but mostly virtual. We're going to have a sci-fi summit this year which is going to be super fun. And we're going to invite all kinds of sci-fi people to come to that and showcase their amazingness. We're going to have lots of giveaways and parties and contests, and we're going to do polls every week on Instagram and just be picking people to do fun stuff with. We're going to be picking from our audience, from our Patreon members, to just highlight people on the show and just have them come on. And our Patreon is called The Escape Pod, which I think is so fun because it's just like this play on words that we couldn't get for the name of our show because it's been trademarked by everyone else on the planet. But yeah, so we have a lot of strategy to make this something that builds big community and also makes us a little bit of money.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So all you Trekkies out there, go and check it out. It's going to be awesome. Links in
the TNG podcast.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Cherise. Have an awesome, awesome week and good luck with the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks, Michelle.
Yep. Bye. Who do we have up next? It is Mr. Tom Birchall. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hello.
I cannot hear you. Oh, there we go. Your sound is slightly behind your visuals. Yep.
Hello.
Okay. This will be weird. That's okay. We like weird. It's awesome. So tell us a bit about your show and what you got going on.
Well, it's all about business stuff. I grew up in a family, a third generation entrepreneur, and just been around it all my life. And I remember saying to my dad that I wanted to become a business coach when I was a kid. And he said, okay, nice, but make sure you don't be one of those guys that hasn't ever run a business before. And so I've spent the past number of years, 30 plus, running a dozen businesses, and doing a podcast is something that's been rolling around in the back of my mind. And I'm taking action on it. We had this course that come up, and just put the things in place because there's not a lot of things to learn. So it's been fun.
Nice. I love it. And it's likewise, I've been thinking about doing a podcast for the last 3 years now. And
yeah, okay.
Went, then finally with the help of Doug and Strickland, it was like, bam, done. Like I blink and the show's done. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So a shout out to them. But tell me more about business, because I don't know if you know me, but I love talking about business and how to grow your business, how to scale your business, how to increase your profits.
For sure.
Happy place.
That's the key word I picked up on, was profits, because along the way, top line sales is one thing, but being profitable ends up being the key piece. It's the whole
I would rather be
doing.
Profitable, make the same amount of money, than have way higher revenue.
Exactly.
That's just me. I like it easy.
You don't want to be running a charity or a non-for-profit, which business ends up being, unfortunately, unless you start to get the right things in place. And so it's figuring that stuff out and getting the right things in place and beginning to move forward, bigger, faster, stronger.
Nice. I love it. So are you doing interview style? Are you teaching? Are you, what's the plan?
A combination.
Are you going to be like
of
the prophet and rip up businesses and put them back together again? To be honest.
It's a combination of both. I'm going to do stuff solo shows myself, and then bring in other people and guest experts and stuff. So a combination of both, because there's some folks that do exclusively interview style, and I've got the experience to be able to do stuff on my own. And so I want to just share that kind of stuff. And there's a little hidden agenda with it all, if you will. I've got 2 boys. They're 21 and 23, and they're both doing business degrees. And it's something that I've wanted to do, is kind of document and chronicle my experience building the dozen businesses that I have. And the last one was successful, grew it up to 25 million, got it up to 8 figures. And I'm just documenting the things that I've learned along the way, and augmenting that with others that come in and know their expertise in their given areas.
I love it. Well, I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to have to get you on my podcast, so be prepared. So, any last parting words for our peeps?
Well, it's so much fun to get out there, connect with folks, and it is something that is valuable of becoming profitable. And I just want to encourage folks to keep their eye on that ball. Sales is one thing, but profits are another. And it's something that we can chat about on the podcast.
Nice. I love it. Well, you have an awesome, awesome week, and good luck with the podcast. Guys in business, be sure to go and check out Tom's podcast and give him good ratings. We like 5s. I'll keep saying it. Awesome. Thanks, Tom.
Take care.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Excellent. And moving the show on a steady pace, our next guest up is none other than Sir Bradley Mooney. How you doing?
Hey,
Hey.
I have to get over here in the center.
Oh, yeah. They were doing that in the other show and didn't know which way to go. So tell tales. You have a brand new podcast out.
I do, and it's much like Cherise's. It's not about business. It's not Star Trek.
And it's
Even though
nothing
I-
like Teresa's show.
Well,
You're
he's
funny,
not-
though.
Well, mine's about beer. So beer is not business. It is fun with that too. But I have to say that Star Trek, I love the show about the ugly bags of mostly water. So you guys can go look that up and on our show, etc.
And
But
he's
yes.
not talking about beer.
My podcast is the ABCs of craft beer. The ABCs being the art, business, and community of craft beer. So we plan to talk about that with the experts in the industries, the owners of the businesses, etc. Talk about the art, of course, which is actually the actual beer itself. There is a lot of science behind it, but the art is what makes the great flavors, the different flavors. Everybody's got a different brew, a different way of making it, different, uniqueness, etc. And then the business, like who are these people? Why did they get there? What is their business that they want to make in the world? And are they just a local pub where they make their own beer, all the way up to are they shipping internationally, etc. So there's a lot of business in there, a lot of stories. A lot of these guys, they're all small business owners, and a lot of them are characters. And a lot of their characters goes over to their marketing and the way they do things. So I think it's going to be very entertaining. And of course, C for community. Most of these breweries are tied to their communities, some very locally, some being the local pub, but some have entertainment once a week where they bring people in. Some even have a big concert in the middle of the summer where they turn their parking lot into a 2,000 or 3,000 seat arena and put on a performance. So the community is a big part, and we want to bring that up as well.
Nice. I love it. And I can't dismiss the fact that marketing to me is a huge part of the craft beer industry. And I think it's fascinating the amount of art that goes into craft beer. It's not just, hey, let's hire a graphic designer and get something out there. They're actually hiring artists and turning that into something cool and fascinating. So there's a whole different layer of or depth to the art that goes into craft beer, which I think is super fun.
Well, yeah, there's two different levels there. One is the art of the beer itself, and then the art of what they do. And I know there's one craft brewery that he hires artists specifically to paint his logo and his things, which again, it's helping the community, helping the local artists in the area, etc. So I think it should be great.
Nice. I think you're going to have an awesome time. And I know from my what I'm going to call my small experience with the craft beer industry, I was blown away with how community oriented they all are. Like they're not in there to be cutthroat or anything. I mean, they're there to make a profit, but they're helping each other. They are doing whatever it takes to be able to help their neighbors. And it is just an awesome, awesome atmosphere. I love it.
Yeah, they have their own community in among themselves. Of all the beer sold in the world, less than 10% of the beer is actually from craft brewing places. They're growing and getting bigger, but even with that, less than 10% of the beer, there's a lot of room to grow in there. So they help themselves among themselves, being their own community, to help each other grow. Because they're not really fighting against each other. They're fighting against the big guys, the Molsons, the Coors, the ones with the big marketing dollars. So, and a lot of them have turned their hobbies into their business. So they may have not known exactly what they were getting in for. I'm sure they'll have a story about their whole business part of it. And I guess to me, running a business, small business especially, first off, it's going to change the world. And second, it is one of the biggest ways to do personal development. If you want to learn and grow, start a business.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Nice. Well, I guess peeps, you're just going to have to watch the show and find out what makes a craft beer and how you can be internationally distributing a craft beer, because that seems a little contradictory to me, but you're going to have to go watch the show. So any parting words for our peeps, Brad?
Well, the only other thing is our website. So we'll be putting the podcasts on the website, and the website is craftbrewmarketingagency.com. Craft beer was taken, so it has to be craft brew marketingagency.com. So go check that out, and you can find all the stuff there, as well as listen to it, give us 5 stars and review it so that other people can find it as well.
Nice. Love it. Okay. Well, have an awesome day. The link is in the chat group, peeps. And good luck with your show, Brad.
Okay. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Bye. Next up, we have the beautiful and lovely Miss Petra Cantata with an awesome voice. How you doing?
I'm finding the center too, because it's always stream. Yeah. Hello, how are you doing?
So nice funny. Everybody's so used to being offset.
Yeah. Your episode is live.
My episode is live.
Yes,
it is.
Yes. So visit my
my episode on your show is live. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay. I'm going, this is live. My episode of you is
yes, everything is live.
Excellent. Well, that's wonderful. Yay.
Good to see you, Michelle.
So guys, go check me out on Petra's show, and I'll give you
Thrive
a link right now.
Win. Thrive and win.
Nice. So tell us a bit about it.
Oh,
give us the 5,000-foot view. Who is Petra, and how did you get into it?
Who is Petra? Petra Cantata is a German in New York, because everybody asks me for my accent and where I come from. So I'm a German in New York, and I am an international speaker, a spiritual entrepreneur and rebel. I am a success and fulfillment coach, and I love to thrive and win, because, most people that hire me, which are mainly entrepreneur leaders and business owners, hire me to be the change, because most of them are too much in their head, not enough in their heart, and they are losing business opportunities left and right and all over the place. So I help them to be the change, to create a magnetic mindset, to create a life of fulfillment, freedom, and fun. So this is also what the show is all about. In my Thrive and Win for Life and Business show, I share what I'm working on, struggling with, hustling with, and I also have some very interesting people like you that come onto my show that I interview, and share their experience in life, what were their challenges with, and also what kicks them out of bed in the morning and lets them do whatever what they are passionate about, because it's all about passion and how we succeed and how can create that life that we really love.
Nice. I love that. It's beautiful. So, peeps, obviously you can see the show at Thrive and Win podcast. You're on Apple. What other platforms are you on? Do you know?
Oh, I know Stitcher and Spotify, and I'm still figuring it out.
I know that feeling.
I'm still in the process. I created a website for the show, the Thrive and Win Show.com. I'm going to put it in the chat as well if I can. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. Does it work? Is it in there? Yeah. So I think I doubled it, but it's okay. I think people can find it. So, and I'm working on the website, and the first page is already up and running. So I'm right now working on putting all the episodes that I uploaded this morning also to the website. But, they get a juice in it, and also have a link to my website, petracantata.com, so where they can see what I do and why people call me the Queen of Change.
Oh, nice. I like that. So, there we go. I'll just make sure that gets public. There we go. I think there may be a little too many. Oh, there we go. I see what happened now.
Yeah.
There's a little too many .comers in there.
Yeah.
Let me just get that out of there. And, you know what? I didn't even notice this. We're going for half an hour and we're all looking at the JVology show. So, hey. We'll go like that. There we go. And comments. There are way too many little widgets, and gadgets in here in the back of
I
the
know.
software. It
I
is
still have to explore
super
StreamYard.
fun.
I have not explored StreamYard. But I invite all my guests here to listen to my amazing people that I have coming. I have Jane M. Powers. I have you. I have Kathleen Manning is on there. Mark Porteous is there. He's a soul connector. I'm in Karen Lubin, the heart and soul of the passion test, and Janet Atwood is coming in a couple of weeks, and several very interesting people more. So they really will enjoy it. And I would appreciate if you can go to my podcast, the Thrive and Win Show. Give me a wonderful rating. I also have there a gift for you. You can download it at www.ichange.live, Live, where you get an ebook, The 5 Elements of Change. Again, I'm all about change, and so many people are scared about change, and change is not easy, and which we see in these times, because we have to deal with a lot of change right now. But in order to really be successful, you have to be or must be the change to thrive and win. And I'll be there and assist you there and guide you the right way to do the proper changes, because not the changes necessarily that in our heads are the ones we need to do, the ones that are buried in our heart that we really, really want to do. Because most of us, we grow up, we have belief systems, we listen to our environment and not do really what we love to do. It's actually statistically proven that 86% of the people do not like what they do. So, and I can help you to discover that and change your life so that you do what you really love to do and get paid for it too.
Nice. Love that. And yes, I think it's super sad that people aren't rein themselves with jobs that they don't like doing and wake up in the morning resenting it and all that kind of horrible thing.
And often they, most think too small. And because, they think, oh, I cannot do it and I'm not good enough and so on and so on and so on. So that needs to change. And it is my mission to inspire over 1 million people, and if possible more, to really discover their true strength, their true purpose, and bring it to life so that the people that need you can, take advantage of you, and you live the life and you do what you are meant to do and you love to do.
Nice. I love it. Well, have an absolutely fantastic launch of your podcast. I hope it goes extremely well for you.
Oh, yeah.
And and say hi to Janet for me. Love her.
I will.
Haven't seen her in years and years. Don't know if she'll remember me, but
back in the States.
Oh, nice.
She was many years in Europe. Now she's back in the States.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, again, thank you, Petra.
Thank
Everybody
you.
check it out.
Nice
We
seeing
got
you.
links.
Let's make it a success.
Absolutely. Have
Bye-bye.
fun. Bye. Excellent. Well, we are just rocking and rolling here, guys. And I accidentally am kicking people off before their time, but that's okay. Gives me an opportunity to be able to talk to you guys and let you know a little bit more about what's going on. So for those of you who don't know, and I know it's been mentioned a couple of times, that we'd like to give special thanks to a couple of people, or a few people. Thanks particularly to JVology, which is run by its founder, Jay Facette, and team, and they are outstanding. They are helping business owners to become more successful through the art and science of joint ventures. So if you get a chance, I'm just going to put up Jay's podcast on the show for you. And yes, I conveniently have all of these in a separate spreadsheet so that I can find them. Otherwise, I was figuring I was going to be going absolutely insane trying to find these things. So the art and science of joint ventures is Jay's new show, and it'll be talking about people in business and working together in order to collaborate on different things. So most people think of joint ventures, they think of partnerships in business and the legal entities of a joint venture. That is one way of looking at it. There's also the other way of looking at it, which can be very short-sighted as well, is simply noticing people with large email lists and going, hey, I got this thing. Do you want to email for me? And that works extremely well, as most people in digital marketing know right now. And you probably find out if you're not in the world of joint ventures and digital marketing, you'll find out all about that. But I find that Jay takes a very unique twist on it right now. And the reason he is not on the show today to join with me is because he is busy pedaling like a duck in water, trying to look calm and get everything done for this weekend for the JVology Live that they're doing for the first time virtually, which is super exciting. So if you are not in the digital world and you're watching this and you're wanting to build your business, which I think everybody should be, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you go to jvologylive.com, and I'm going to put that link in the chat box as well. Not everybody knows what a JVology is. And basically, JVology, just like it says, is the science of studying joint ventures. And at JVology Live, you learn how to do that. So it doesn't matter that you don't know how yet. That's kind of the point. And it also doesn't matter if you're a veteran in the whole digital marketing world, even if you're like us and you specialize in affiliate marketing in the digital world. There is still a ton to learn. And more importantly, there are a ton of people to connect with that actually want to sell your products to their people. And Jay goes through this awesome formula to be able to figure out who are your best joint venture people, how to approach them, how to talk to them, how to create higher and more powerful conversations than you might be having right now. So it's not so much a matter of, hey, I had this thing, do you want to buy it? It's, hey, I have this tribe of people that really need to have this. Do you know anybody that might be able to supply that? And that's when super cool conversations start happening. So for those of you who don't know, I actually have quite a few friends in the world of joint ventures that their sole job, and has been for like the last 40 years now, is just to meet people from around the world that have unique propositions, unique services, unique companies, and they put the buyers together with the sellers and they make a ton of money doing that. So really, that's all I do is go around the world and schmooze and network, which I think is a fantastic job, and it eluded me for the longest time. But thanks to Jay and JVology, I am starting to understand that better. And that is one of the ways that we got our delightful contract at Hippocrates. And there's a few other places that we've been working of substantial size that wouldn't be possible without JVology and being able to see joint ventures in that realm. So if you get a chance, go check out Jay's show. It is The Art and Science of Joint Ventures. And if you're watching this right now and you're available this weekend, get your tickets for JVology Live. You will be very, very, very glad you did. The other person I'd like to thank is Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonham from Turnkey Podcasts. And I'm sorry, I always say your name wrong, and you're just going to have to forgive me because this is live. And if you missed it, don't worry about it. So Doug and Strickland are amazing and awesome. So for those of you who don't know, I have been kind of sitting on a podcast for 4 years now. I had about 7 or 8, maybe even 9 episodes that were ready to go and launch, but for whatever reason, weirdly enough, the technology was holding me back. Being able to find guests was holding me back. Knowing what to say on them was holding me back. There's a whole bunch of things that were really silly now in hindsight, because going through this process with Doug and Strickland was absolutely stunning. So what I've achieved in weeks, what had previously taken me years thinking about. So if you get a chance to go and check out Turnkey Podcasts, they have an amazing program that just walks you through step by step. You watch the videos, you hit pause, you go do the thing, you come back, you hit play, you hit pause, go back to the thing. And it's just step by step by step, and you get the whole thing done. It's absolutely brilliant. And if you happen to go to JVology Live this weekend, they have made an offer that anybody that is actively participating in the group, and you're going around, you're moving and shaking, you're networking, you're finding who does what, when, where in the zoo, then they are offering their program for free. So yes, that's for free. So that is, I believe, a $500 program right now. It's going up to $1,500 because it is totally worth it. It is it's even a no-brainer at 1,500 because you're guaranteed that you're going to get your podcast up and running. And as soon as it's up and running, you have your audience, you're making money, you're doing your thing. So go and check those out. If you don't get to JVology Live, that's okay. Like I said, go to turnkeypodcast.com and check out their program because it is stellar and fantastic. You want to get your podcast up, you're going to get it up. And that brings me to my other show, which is going to be, so my show right now that I have live and going on is the Business Ownership Podcast. And it's all about creating wealth and scaling your business. Have a fancy dancy little outline that I'll tell you about. So what it says is the Business Ownership Podcast is transforming your business from solopreneur to business owner who can walk away from day-to-day operations, which can seem impossible. Each Monday, Michelle Nedelec, that's me, executive coach and creative director of Awareness Strategies, interviews CEOs and masters of business to help entrepreneurs navigate the waters of entrepreneurship and find ways to bring their products and services to light in the business world. If you're an entrepreneur with a brilliant idea who's busting to get out on the world scene, then this podcast is for you. So if you're interested in that show, that's my podcast, which is the Business Ownership Podcast. I should probably have a link for you. So now I got to go hunting and pecking. So ignore me that I'm not looking at the camera. However, we will get you that. And one of my interviews this week was fantastic and stellar with Mr. Jonathan Bangle. He is amazing and hilarious and awesome. And we had, instead of a half-hour podcast, we had a 3-hour podcast, and we talked about everything, like everything. And it turns out that I think that episode is much more apt to my other show that's coming up. And I'm sorry, I'm just chatting away with Scott and they're going, get your butts on the show. So the next show that I might be doing is, well, that I will be doing because I already have 3 hours worth of episodes for it, is the Little Blue Pill in Business, which is how to get it up in business. And it's all about the 6 inches between your ears. So if you're interested in that kind of show, yes, that will be a restricted audience. It's not just all business. But if you're interested in that, we'll be doing that as well. So I now have the illustrious guests. I'm going to just pop in Miss Heather Campbell.
Hello.
How you doing, honey?
Oh my gosh, happy to be here. It's been a crazy day.
Yes, it has.
How are you doing?
I'm going to say, tell me about your day. How's your day?
Right, whirlwind. I know you've been in a different kind of whirlwind.
Between getting my episodes up and Brad's up and Jay's, well, Brad, Doug and Strickland took care of Jay's, but getting Jay's show up and running, it's been
Yeah, you've had your hands full. You've had the triple launch on top of like the regular launch. Oh my gosh.
It's like the Jeff Walker of podcast launch.
Well, I just listened to Brad's intro show and I'm like, oh my gosh, of course Michelle is on there interviewing him and doing the intro. It was amazing. Great work. But yeah, you've got your hands full.
So you have a brand new podcast, and give us first the 5,000 foot view of who you are and what you do and it's podcast.
Absolutely. So my podcast is called Guts, Grit, and Great Business. It is a podcast really about the fact that entrepreneurship and the business journey is a marathon, not a sprint. And we're going to be digging into a lot of conversations around how we make decisions, how we lead our businesses, how even in hard places and hard times, which I know quite a few people are facing right now in their businesses, trying to figure out, how to be in this, massively adjusted marketplace, how to pivot if they need to pivot. And I think business is one long journey of pivoting, right? We always have to be responsive to the marketplace. Otherwise, we don't have a business. But it's really, I really want to dig into conversations about how we often, even under severe constraints and points of compression, are able to make the decisions that are essential to our business success. And it's often compression that does that.
I was going to say, so people resent the stress of whatever they're going through. And in fact, some of that stress is what causes them to have the brilliant breakthroughs that they do, which allow them to have the successes that they do, which allow them to step apart from the pack and go, oh my God, you're brilliant. How'd you do that? Like,
No, that's
I don't know.
right. It's true. I was actually just trying to grab a book. So I was reading Viktor Frankl again the other night, Man's Search for
Love.
Meaning. Oh, so
Love.
good. So good. But there's a quote in there talking about, people want homeostasis. They want things to go like this, and that's not what we need, right? We need to have the tension of conflict. We need to have the tension that exists in most things for us to be able to grow, to decide to move through it. So that's a lot of what my business conversations on the podcast are going to be about. For people that have some longevity in business, they've got some solid business chops, how have they navigated those waters? How have they made those tough decisions? And how have they done it in a way that really creates success for themselves?
Nice. I love that. Love, love, love. So for those who don't know, if we haven't stated this yet, Heather's website is, it's on there. It's Guts, Grit, and Great Business. And have you mentioned that you're a lawyer and that you do online legal packages?
Not yet in this conversation. So the podcast is called Guts, Grit, and Great Business. It can be found on my website, which is legalwebsitewarrior.com/podcast. So yeah, my website's Legal Website Warrior. That's my online business that supports information entrepreneurs. These are coaches, consultants, online educators, and experts, speakers, and authors. So as an attorney, I love supporting these folks. I love helping them get their business models and their, support structures and their legal stuff right. So it's a really fun fit for me.
Nice. So that was legalwebsitewarrior.com/podcasts. Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
Nice. Put that in the chat box there. So I've been cutting everybody off early, so I was left alone to my own
You're
devices.
just hanging out. Yeah.
Just hanging out and talking to myself and anybody else would happen to be listening. So,
That's
so I will
awesome.
give you your entire 5 minutes here.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
So tell us a little bit too about your online packages for business owners, because I know I was kind of gobsmacked by that when I first saw it. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. We need this. And I'm not one usually for legal mumble jumbo. And I'm like, hey, handshake, kiss and a prayer, and let's go do business together. So tell me about your packages, because I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that those came about is having practiced law. I've been in law now for about 18 years. And at about the 12 or 13 year mark, I really wanted to make a transition in the way that I served people. And there was a segment of what I call the small business marketplace in the United States that is just massively underserved. They don't go to the traditional legal model for their legal needs. The way their businesses evolve and develop, the barriers to entry in the traditional legal marketplace are too high. People don't pay $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 to go have a consultation with somebody just to figure out, do they like them and can they work with them, right? Let alone get into the understanding their business model and their supports. And so my goal, because there's such a gap, the way that, and I know my screen is narrow here. There's
I would get rid of I'll take this opportunity to get rid of myself because I have no idea what these buttons are for. So let me just try and figure out which buttons am I supposed to be playing with?
That's right. No worries. That's okay. So the gap is like this. Like over here, you've got hiring an attorney one-on-one for all your legal needs. People don't do that. Like I said, the cost is too high. Over here, you've got LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer, right? You've got what I call big box templates. And they're not terrible, but they really don't serve people in the way that they need it. And they're not targeted to a segment of the business audience. It's the, business world at large. So my goal was to fill that middle space, to create a solution in the middle that would provide business owners and entrepreneurs that I serve an out-of-the-box solution that works well, that they can immediately plug into their business, and that even if they don't have the budget to go hire somebody one-on-one to do their work, they've got a solution that is pre-tailored. So that was my goal. I developed 4 bundles. They're based on different stages of business. They have contract templates. They've got educational videos. They've got some additional supports and different things in there that's for educational content. Because the other thing I care about that really is missing from the marketplace is education. People can plug in templates or get free templates or borrow them from a friend, but they don't know what they do. They don't understand best practices. They don't know whether that's a fit for their business in the first place. So it's a little tough on people trying to sort their way through that. And they need to have the context. They need to have some education around their business, period. So I hope that helps. Michelle, you disappeared. There you are. You're back.
I figured it out. I'm so excited. Doing my little dance behind, but you couldn't hear me.
Hilarious. So that's
awesome.
that's the kind of the why behind those bundles.
That is awesome. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
You're
So
welcome.
Yep.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
going to say, I love you. Thanks for letting me pop on. I've got to go do a podcast interview myself.
Okay, bye.
Okay,
Love
bye-bye.
you too. Thanks. That's awesome. Hello, Robin. Goodbye, Robin. Who have we got next? We are with Mr. Scott Brown. How you doing? You gotta love
Michelle.
being in the green room in here because every once in a while you just get automatically put onto the screen. You're like, what? I wasn't ready for that. Well, you better have all your clothes on. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, I got a shirt on. We'll go that far.
There you go.
Never mind. Okay.
Good
Nice
start.
to see your smile again. It's nice to see you're having so much fun with this. This is cool.
I have been having a ton of fun with this, and I am hoping, like all fingers and toes crossed, that this works because it has been super fun for me. I think I've found my happy place, and it's like
Cool.
might be second best to being on stage. So give us the 5,000 foot view. Who are you, Scott, and what do you do?
Well, trying to think how best to answer your question. Hang on a second. My screen's getting messed up here.
That's okay.
What's supposed to be right here is not right here.
Yeah, you're looking fine on this end.
Just give me 1 second.
Scott's always
There we go.
looking fine. For those of you who don't know, well, he's doing that. Met Scott at the JVology Launchpad, which is where people do the behind the scenes work to get all their stuff ready for launching their joint venture partnerships. And I was always commenting on Scott's beard because I think it was just fantastic and amazing. It's like, oh my God, that looks so awesome. It's like, there's nothing you can do that'll make that look bad. That is just the most fantastic beard ever. And I loved it.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. It needs some trimming up here, but it's getting whiter and whiter all the time. It's getting harder to see in the mirror to trim it. But oh well, good problem to have.
All good, baby.
Okay, I'm a female CEO specialist, and while that may sound strange, especially coming from an old guy with a beard, focus has been for a number of years working with my clients, female CEOs, female entrepreneurs, and other highly ambitious women of influence is just where it seems to be the sweet spot as such. I know I've shared this with you before. My mother was a very highly ambitious woman, an influential woman as such. And I watched her over the years. I think, I spent, I don't know if this sounds wrong, but of course she was my mother. So I spent 9 years inside of her. And I think somewhere along the line, a switch got flipped that somehow, even when I was young, I found myself paying attention to what she was doing, what she was saying, and thinking, wait a minute, everything doesn't totally jive here. She always tried to make herself look perfect on the outside, which is the normal thing to do, even while trying to hide stuff on the inside or not feeling totally cool about everything on the inside. And to try to get her to talk about some of the stuff she was going through was tough to do. But I really paid attention to that. And then from that, I started to notice, wow, there's a lot of people that are doing this, men and women both, but especially highly ambitious women. It's a little bit different version of that. It's the, some call it the imposter syndrome, or the, there's all kinds of nicknames for it. But my heart really goes out to this. It's not judgmental. It's not critical. It's not anything. I tend to see things that most people just don't see. And especially when it comes to guys. And I want to apologize for the male race.
You're not your own race. You're only half the species.
The species, or whatever in the heck we want to call it. Because there are a lot of guys that are just out to lunch when it comes to the stuff, or I often say I end up getting involved with the things female related that most men either try to avoid or run away from. I do the other way. I'm actually walking towards it because I can sense it. I can feel the pain. I can feel the emotions. Clients very often, when I first start to work with them, the first time we see each other, typical statements that I get are, I don't know why I'm here. You're a guy. You can't possibly understand how I feel or how I think, or it was a waste of my time. But I'm known for within 45 minutes or less, she usually has her first breakthrough or multiple breakthroughs. And then she's saying, wow, I love this. How can we do more of this? Or, what's the next step? And it's just cool to see that happen. So with the podcast, we want to try to do somewhat the same thing. And a lot of it involves what I refer to as strategic secrets. There's so many things that so many women in high positions or, positions in their company where they know the business is going to live or die based on the choices that she makes. There's so many things she doesn't know or she's not aware of. She's doing her best. She's going to, maybe taking courses or workshops or bringing advisors and whatever. But there's just so many things that my focus is on her, where most business advisors focus on the business. I focus on her. And the bottom line with it is she's poured her blood, sweat, and tears into the business. Isn't it time for her business to love her back?
Nice.
So
I love that. And peeps, for those of you who don't know, I particularly like Scott's approach to business. And like I said, I had plenty of time to be able to discuss all of this with him. And you're just fabulous to talk to. Zero judgment, funny, humorous, sees the humor in everything, doesn't judge me. So you got to know, if he doesn't judge me, you're fine.
You're fine.
I guarantee I'm going to stick my mouth in my face at some point in time or something else. And, it just goes awry from there. So, you are absolutely incredible. And even from a personal development point of view, we've always said that people think that they're hiding their stuff on the inside and they've got this well lacquered facade on the outside. In reality, we ooze 100% of our personality all the time. And the only one we're hiding it from is ourselves. So, go and talk to Scott, find out what's going on like ASAP, because it just helps so immensely in business, whether it's a CEO level position or you're the entrepreneur. Being able to get in touch with that and figure it out fast is immensely helpful, especially in changing times like this. So
that's cool. Thank you, Michelle. And one other thing, if I could, since you and I talked a few hours ago, I see you put up the Stitcher link. Spotify now has sent me the Spotify link. But what I'm actually doing, I'll make this real quick, is I'm trying to make this podcast, there's a number of things. It's inspirational, it's educational, it's entertaining, but I also want to make this interactive. And I know it's tough to do with a podcast, but the idea is I have an app. It's real simple. It's my name, Scott Brown, 360.com, just scottbrown360.com. And it's a really cool app. I don't have it totally all put together, but it's enough to be up and running. What I'm asking is the call to action on these next episodes here, since we're just getting started, is to hop on that app, leave me a comment, a question, even if you have a totally different perspective, even if you hate something that I said, go ahead and tell me what it is, and then I will reply back personally to you. Maybe someone on my team, but most likely it'll be me on purpose. And depending on what it is you're asking or commenting on, if I have your permission, there's a good chance that will make it on to future episodes. And who knows, you might even end up being a future guest on an episode. So that's a way to try to make this interactive. And like you said, no judgment, no criticism, and anything is fair game. It's sort of like an ask me anything kind of a setup. So I want to see if that'll sort of work, just to make this something a little different, unique.
Nice.
So,
I love it.
Thank you.
I will definitely be on there.
And it's been great getting to know you, and I'm looking forward to the next time we get together.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah, cool.
Any final words you'd like to leave with our peeps?
For a lot of highly ambitious women, it can oftentimes feel like you're concerned that someone's going to try to fix you or think they have to fix you or swoop in and try to solve your problems for you. I do this very, very different with my breakthrough method. It's about equipping you to feel comfortable to reverse engineer your own challenges, saving you time, maximizing your ROI. So I don't step in and tell you what to do or lead you a certain direction. We do this together. It's like I help you figure out what you want to do next and what will work out next, and then try to, be aware of the pitfalls that can happen. I've had some CEOs that they're at a stage of their life where they're dating, like her husband has died or marriage broke up or whatever happened, and even just some of them, it's been really cool because they say, hey, I'm going on a date tonight, and with whatever, and then I'll say, okay, is he picking you up at the house? Are you going to meet at the restaurant? What are you doing? And then as soon as she tells me, I'll say, now you realize if he picks you up at the house, which sounds cool, that means at the end of the night he's bringing you back to the house, and he's going to expect an invitation to come in for coffee or something. So are you prepared for all of that? And just walking through those seemingly little insignificant things, but they can have huge impacts. And I love to do that kind of stuff. So
Nice.
we're in this.
I
We're
love
all in
that.
this together.
Super helpful if you never had a big brother or a functional big brother.
or a blue bearded Smurf. Sometimes you get called like Papa Smurf or whatever. It sort of fits the blue. Anyway, dumb joke. Forget it.
I love it. Oh,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Can we dye your beard blue?
Hey,
Your wife might not.
I'll go for it.
Awesome.
Nice seeing you.
Excellent.
Love it.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay.
Love you
Have
too.
fun.
We'll
Take
talk
care.
to you soon.
See you
Bye.
later. Bye.
Excellent. Hello, Miss Robin.
Hi,
How you
Michelle.
doing?
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound like you're echoing, but
I'm
I can hear
echoing.
you.
Oh, well, I might be. I'm kind of in an empty room here.
That's okay. I love you and Cherise both have your little podcast things facing that direction, and it looks like you're sitting behind a steering wheel. I'm like, okay, I'm jealous. How come you got to get out of the house?
Just right.
That's awesome. It has been a long time since I've got to see you. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a little while. I think the last time we were together in person might have been the with Jay and Alina back in November.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So tell us, give everybody the 5,000-foot view of who you are, what you do, and all that kind of fun stuff.
Sure, absolutely. Love to. So I came out of owning a music and dance studio and working with thousands of kids over the course of 20 years. And in that course of events, I learned a lot about kids and quitting and self-confidence and results. And what I learned about kids applies to adults as well. And so my business is called Quitting Culture. And I help people accountably quit doing the things that they shouldn't do, commit to the things that are most important to them, and then finish what they start. And so when it comes to business owners, I work with a lot of business owners who serve kids and who are working on retention. Because when they work on retention, that improves their revenue and their reputation. And it also makes a huge difference for kids in getting results. So I do that. And then I work with a lot of business owners who don't work with kids, but who are looking for actually achieving results in their life. And they do that through developing the confidence of and moving forward because they've learned how to finish what they started. So I'm all about that. That's my key message to people is there's a lot of freedom that comes when you learn how to be a finisher. That's it.
Nice. Yes, there is. I wish you were around when I needed you. No, which wasn't even that long ago, which is kind of sad. And some people know kind of my story about Mount Kilimanjaro. I dragged Brad across the world to go and climb Mount Kilimanjaro because Anne Lorimore was going up, and she was at the time the oldest woman to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and she was getting into the Guinness World Book of Records. And I went, we've got to go. This is going to be awesome. And so we did. It was a lot of fun. She made it into the Guinness World Book of Records. But part of the way up, you start at midnight and 6 a.m. You finish climbing the straight up part, which I affectionately called Snot Rock. And it was like 2 steps forward, 1 step back for 6 hours in the dark. And you have no idea where you're going and what you're doing. Not completely unlike entrepreneurship. And I get about 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm exhausted. I'm like, I am so sick of this. Like, I'm not getting anywhere. Nothing is changing. I still feel like I'm on Snot Rock. I still see lines above me, lines below me. Nothing has changed in my mind. And Brad goes, you're not dragging me halfway across the world to stop now.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? And I went, oh, yeah, I'm going to go back to base camp and sit there and wait for you. That's kind of stupid. Okay, fine. We'll keep going. And it was like such a huge metaphor for I always quit right before I get to the crowning glory, because I'm sick of doing the work and not getting any results.
Well, and that's what happens. And the fact of the matter is, in any long-term commitment, so whether it's as a kid in an activity or as an adult in entrepreneurship or in college or a job or a relationship, right? No matter what, there are always peaks and valleys and plateaus, no matter what. So you're going to love it. You're going to be okay. You're going to hate it. And it's the tenacity, it's the commitment to sticking with it that makes all the difference. But so many times we end up dropping, somewhere along the way, because it just becomes tedious. And so what I saw with kids is that, and sorry, I think Doug is saying my mic is not selected properly. So sorry. Can you hear me, Michelle?
I didn't hear echo. It sounds like you're in the washroom, but whatever. She's not.
I'm not, but I am. But the thing I saw with kids is the kids that learned how to achieve, thank you, Doug. The kids that learned how to finish, those became kids that didn't just finish music or dance, but they did exceedingly well in soccer and in school. And those were the kids that went to the state history competition and went to the nationals, and everything they did, they had success in, because they learned to tell the story of, I finish what I start, I'm good at things, I can achieve anything. And I think that's what happens with kids that end up being isolated and hang out in their bedrooms and never finish anything. They don't think they're good at anything. And then they become adults who also tell that story, I'm not really good at anything. So if we can help shift it in kids, that's awesome. But if we can also get in with adults who want to be, I tell people, I'll hold your hand and kick your butt over the finish line. That's my commitment. And that's how I work with my clients is, I'm not letting go of you. You can run, but you can't hide. I'm going to find you.
Nice. I love that. So your podcast, again, is The Liberated Life, which I'm assuming will appeal to entrepreneurs, parents, anybody that wants some motivation to wake up in the morning going, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? Why did I get into this?
Yeah. And it's all about, it's about a lot of things. I intend to have, for me, it's body, soul, and mind, right? So mindset hacks, people that I work with, I'm bringing on a bunch of different experts, people that I know personally that I love, that have special hacks to work on, what's going on in your mind. People that I work with that are health specialists. How can we set ourselves free from the constraints of our body when we're frustrated? How can we, be true to ourselves and the spirit that we have, and trusting ourselves and our intuition? How do we use all of those things to have more freedom? And so for me, there's a lot of freedom. For me is a choice, right? And I have to be diligent about seeking it and finding it, because I realized, my dad was a super free guy. He just lived large all the time, but I didn't inherit that. I inherited the desire and the drive, but I have to find freedom for myself. I have to learn how to do that. So my show is all about, okay, how do you set yourself free? And a lot of it, I think, is mindset.
Nice. I love that. And just for the record, what's your website if people want to go and check you out?
It is quittingculture.com. Yeah. So feel free to connect with me there. I work with lots of entrepreneurs, not just people who serve kids, but lots of people who just need to finish what they start, because it's time, because it's important.
Nice. I love it. Any final words for our peeps?
No, not really. Thank you. I think I said everything I need to say. I could talk forever, so I'm cutting myself off.
Yes, I think people are noticing that I have some awesome people on the show today, and they're like, I love that. I want to do that. So yes, make sure you go and check out Robin's show, The Liberated Life, and bookmark it so that you can go back over and over again, and go to thequittingculture.com and make sure you connect with her there too. And you'll find all sorts of goodies, I promise.
Thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate you being here today. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Love you. Miss you. Have fun.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Hey peeps, we are in the final run here to the race in the finish line, and I have with me none other than the illustrious Mr. Doug Sandler. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, Michelle, I feel like I've birthed all of these shows.
But you have got to watch your show, man. It was epic. It was like, it was just one was after another going, oh my God. And there's such awesome ideas and people that without you, never would have been able to bring these ideas to
Oh my gosh.
the platform. So,
So great, so great. I
the
felt
world
like my
thanks you.
mother hen for just a quick second with Robin. I'm like, no, have her turn her microphone on, please turn your microphone, because I wanted her to sound really good. And it's like, and she does sound good. And listen to her show, the Liberated Life. What an amazing show! As your show is amazing. I've gone through literally the entire list of 20 some shows that are launching, reviewing all of those shows back to back to back, and then just putting a 5-star rating. I wanted to be like the first one for everybody. Some of you guys already had reviews. I'm like, dang it, I wanted to be the first one for everybody. But excellent to be in here.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. So for those of you who missed it, about 20 minutes ago, I was explaining who Mr. Doug Sandler is and how epic he is in his program with Turnkey Podcast and your buddy Strickland. We love you guys. You're awesome.
Thank you.
So tell us a bit about kind of how this whole thing happened, because I mean, I ripped through it, but you got a great story.
Yeah, well, you want to hear my story, or you want to hear about the business? I'll take either side of it is fine. I mean, we've kind of enjoyed this. I'll tell you a little bit about how I got into Nice Guys on Business, and then how we've been able to find some level of success at that. So I started podcasting about 5 years ago. It came in the tail end of 2013. I started a professional speaking business and was looking for a way to promote my speaking business and a book that I had recently written called Nice Guys Finish First. And the Nice Guys on Business was birthed from that. Strickland Bonner, my partner and co-host on the Nice Guys on Business podcast, we had so many people, one specifically at the time, but so many people since then have come out from our community and said, hey, can you teach us how to do what you've done with your podcast? So we started a small idea called it Turnkey Podcast, a production company that would actually be able to promote and build from concept to launch people's podcasts, creating a high visibility tool, doing all sorts of fun stuff, teaching them how to build community, build influence, make money. And the show, while it wasn't the original intention of the show to get into the podcast business of production, it was my idea to promote my business, which was professional speaking at the time. Well, we've been overwhelmed by the amount of people coming out from our community to say, hey, can you teach us how to do this with podcasting, that we started our full service production business. And we found in the full service production that many people didn't want the white glove treatment. They didn't want concierge. They wanted to do it on their own because of the expense. So they wanted to save the money and do a lot of the work on their own. And then maybe if they came back and hired us to do production, that would be great, but that wasn't the intention. So we created this do-it-yourself program called the Ultimate Podcast Launch Formula. And with JVology just recently, we did this group launch, and we started with 30 some odd people wanted the idea of launching a podcast. And when it really narrowed down, it came to, I think, 22 people. And of the 22, as of today, 19 of those 22 are launching, and the 3 are right on our heels. We're a little bit late in getting over to Apple Podcast, but 19 shows are launched today. It was our biggest group launch yet. And we're going to do it again in June for JVology Live. And then we're going to actually introduce it as a program that we're going to share with our JV partners. And we want to be able to launch over 100 shows at one time. And we're hoping to be able to accomplish that just in August alone. So it's coming up. It's really soon. The launch is happening at the end of June. And then the launch will probably be about 4 weeks after we start the program, which will be at the beginning of August for the big launch. So that's a little bit of my story behind the scenes. And there's been so many amazing things that the gifts I had never expected to come from podcasting, like building great relationships with people and all the JV partnerships and the collaborative arrangements and all of that stuff. But from a personal perspective, I met some of the best people in the entire world podcasting. I've done 1,100 episodes, 4 million downloads. About 800 of those 1,100 have been interviews. And I've gotten the chance to be coached by the most fabulous, most famous people in the world in the business community, Arianna Huffington and Gary Vaynerchuk and John C. Maxwell and Jeffrey Gitomer and Jay Fizzette and, just so many. And Michelle, you too, I've had a chance to chat with you, but we'll get you on our show so we can actually put you in the category of famous people that have been on the Nice Guys on Business podcast. So I just appreciate and respect everybody that is willing to go out on a limb and launch a podcast and do something that's a little uncomfortable. But we're here to help you every step of the way and make this a reality. So thank you for having me here again on this little part of your launch, Michelle.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Like I said, it's been absolutely incredible what had previously taken me 3 years to think about, took me 3 months to implement with your guys' help. So that was astronomical, mind-blowing. And there wasn't one time, going back to Robin's talk, that I actually procrastinated with it. And I thought, oh my God, this is tedious. I can't get through this. It was super exciting, super fun. I loved the atmosphere of being able to do it with a group of people, to be able to get their feedback. And we were tossing back and forth ideas and, hey, how do you like my artwork? How do you like my theme? How do you like this, that, and the other thing? Like, that was just so much fun. And I don't know if you know, but I've got like 13 episodes already done and in the bag. And it was so much fun. Like, and you got to understand. So all of those were recorded like within the last 3 weeks, right?
That's incredible.
I didn't get up to that point.
I want to add this because you guys really helped us create something much different than we even had envisioned when we first came up with this concept of doing this group launch. And some of those things are the gamification of it, to create a little contest, which was great. And prizes are coming as soon as we wanted to make sure everybody launched. I was using that as a little bit of lever. So everybody's launches. That was kind of cool. The other thing that was really cool was that the community within the JVology Global Lounge, which is where we really did a lot of the communication with each other, that created such an amazing. Oh, thank you. Thanks to JVology and Turnkey Podcast. It created. How do you get that color? Because that's something. Oh, I think I know. That's in the branding.
Gotta go to your graphic artist and get some pictures.
I have StreamYard too, and I love it. It's been a great way for me to share our message. But the Facebook group really did create something very unique with this launch, in that we were all together. And so when we do this next launch, when we do it live with this 100 shows, because that's what my goal is going to be, to do 100 shows at one time, we want to create a Facebook group to do it, because so much of that information, like Michelle, you were an invaluable resource. You may not even realize this. You were an invaluable resource as we're going through this, because if somebody sees me as the leader of this, and it's all about Doug and what he is saying, and nobody that's actually in the trenches like you building this show. I mean, you encouraged people along the way. You gave them little pokes every once in a while to say, hey, you can do this too. So many people within the group, that part, the community part, it made my heart sing, because that's really, and the other thing that we tried to do is really create it in small little bite-sized pieces, so you didn't get overwhelmed. And we're hoping we pulled that off in a way that was, unique, and it felt right for you to, hey, how hard it is to create an open for a show. It literally is you writing 2 sentences. Yeah, but it's 2 sentences that sometimes hold people back from launching a podcast, just like cover art, just like a title, just like and just like the microphone. People just never really, I don't want to learn the tech. I'm like, there really is nothing when it comes to technology, and people really do let that kind of stuff hold them back a lot too.
Nice. It was epic. It was like having a barrel full of mini donuts that you just ate one at a time. And by the time you're done, it's like, oh my God, I ate the whole thing.
Podcasting like a barrel full of mini donuts. I like that. Can I steal that tagline? I might want to use that.
Absolutely. It's all yours. That's great. Well, one of the things that I want you to mention before you leave, because I know you got a ton of stuff to do, and I super appreciate you being here right now. But tell my peeps, because a lot of them aren't in digital marketing, obviously, because they're hiring us to do that for them. They are mostly bricks and mortar. There's a lot of bricks and mortar, a lot of coaches, speakers, authors, that kind of thing, employees. Tell them kind of what kind of person would go and start their own podcast.
Well, if you're just trying to figure out how to be stop being the best kept secret that's out there, I mean, podcasting is your way to be able to do that. It gives you a marketing arm for a business. And if you create a podcast and you have it out here as your hobby, you're going to get exactly that. You're going to get hobby results. You put this in the center hub of your business where everything revolves around it. Now, I'm not saying take a leap of faith and believe me. What I'm saying is get started in podcasting, have it as a spoke in the wheel. And I'm going to show you through the process that we actually put you through, the coaching, because anybody can launch a podcast. You have a microphone and access to Apple, and you can have a podcast. But does it make sense to have a podcast that isn't actually serving your business and serving you? So what we teach people how to do is grow community, build influence, and make money podcasting. And any of those 3 can be your goals for podcasting. But if you go at it with a systematic approach to actually doing it, you can be highly successful at becoming an influencer in your space, which correlates to money in business, to be a community builder, which correlates into bigger list, which equates into more money for your business. And you can really do it specifically with the intent of, I want to do it just to make money. Now, that's not necessarily the best leader, but there are some people that are very money motivated. So if that is your key, if that's your goal, then we'll show you a strategy that I actually put into play. Actually, we're doing it on a Thursday on a masterclass. Whatever, I'll share with the link or whatever. We'll share that. But you have. I don't even know what the link is offhand. I'll figure out before we hang up.
Okay,
today
we'll post it. Keep checking the site.
Yeah, check Michelle's feed. We can teach people specifically how to make money without even having a show launched yet. So all of those things are critical depending on what your goals are for your show. So step 1, we come up with a strategy. Step 2, concept to launch. Step 3, produce the show and start killing it in the podcasting space. And you really can. It's a beautiful thing.
Nice. So for those of you who didn't catch that, if you're a for-profit organization and you're fully established, podcasts are for you. If you're an entrepreneur and you've been around for a bit, podcasts are for you. If you're brand spanking new to business and you've never done anything before, podcasts are for you. If you're a nonprofit, podcasts are for you. And if you're just somebody that has something to say in the world and wants to make a difference, you don't have to be an egomaniac like me. You just have to have something that you want to get out there. And it is an awesome opportunity to go and find peeps that are just like you that want to hear what you have to say. So I don't think there's anybody out there that wouldn't make a great podcaster. I mean, I'm even thinking people like my mom and dad would have awesome podcasts talking about their childhood. That would be awesome. I would totally tune into that.
Yeah, we do on Fridays, we do our special, I don't want to use the word, but it's the F word. We use our special effery podcast episodes, and we've been doing that for 5 years. And when we actually just cut loose and share everything about, now that's me. I mean, some people are very private and they don't want to share their personal lives on their podcast. You want to hear everything that's going on in my life, listen to my Friday episodes. It's all the shit that's going on in my life, good, bad, or indifferent. You know, the stuff, the challenges that we've had with COVID, the wins that we've had because of COVID, the challenge that we've had in business and in life, my 2 divorces. I mean, I am literally, I share my entire life on my podcast. For those that are more close to the vest, you don't have to do any of that. But it's my show, so I get to do whatever I want to. And you can do whatever you want to when you have a show too, which is creating a legacy. If it's a passion project, I have a show. I have a poster behind me. You can't see it on the camera, but I have a poster behind me. I have a 65 Mustang, very similar to Jay there. It's right over there. I have a 65 Mustang. I have a whole show that's related to just that car. Not just an episode, but an entire show. It's called Ford Mustang, The Early Years. So no matter what you do, passion project, for-profit or nonprofit, you can create a podcast around that. And believe it or not, you can turn a business into your show into a business. And if you don't want to, if you just want to do it for the enjoyment, this is definitely the thing for you. This launch is so cheap and so inexpensive, and so you can get in and have all the support that you need. So looking forward to having everybody as a part of the launch. I know, Michelle, you're a partner on that launch, so I'm hoping that all of your folks get a chance to get into our launch.
Nice. Absolutely. We will be sending out emails and doing Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever else I'm on, letting people know about that launch because I'm super excited about filling that space. This, to me, podcasts right now are kind of the equivalent of what YouTube was or Instagram was when they first started. Like, it's still in its infancy, and it's just super fun. You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to look good, which is another bonus. you just do audio and you don't have to worry. There are so many advantages to this. I just can't possibly.
You can do video if you want, but I always tell everybody in the beginning, just do audio. And keep in mind, there's a billion with a B, a billion blogs that are out there. There's 1 million with an M, a million. So 1/1000th of the amount of podcasts that are out there than blogs. And most podcasts, I would say over 70%, I think that's the statistic, somewhere around 70%, have not actually had an episode released in the last 90 days. There's no competition in this space. It's amazing. Even if you think that everybody's already doing it, nobody is podcasting. It's your chance. Right now is your time to shine and blow it out of the park with a podcast.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And again, last thanks to JVology for putting us all together. And thank you, Turnkey Podcast, Ian Strickland, for allowing us this opportunity to do this. And I want it to blow up for you in the most positive and awesome way because it has been super fun. Like, just even if it turns into nothing, this has been like the highlight of my day, got me waking up again and all excited about life. So thank you very much. I appreciate it immensely.
Yeah, thank you. And it's interesting because many people do have the approach of if it doesn't work, it's okay. And I think the attitude is definitely, it's not bad to have that attitude, but at the same time, just think about the possibilities that could actually happen if you have a podcast. it's an inexpensive way to get out there into the world and share your message, and it will create a lot of impact if you treat it like a business. So Michelle, thank you for having me on your JVology Live here. What is this exactly?
What are we doing? We are doing a podcast lunch party.
James actually sent me a bottle of wine. I've got to go open that bottle and share it with the world. So I'll do that on Heather's. I wasn't expecting to hop in here, but I saw your message and I'm like, oh, I want to talk. I want to talk.
Nice. So you're at turnkeypodcast.com. Yes.
Yep, exactly. If somebody wants to go to our website, turnkeypodcast.com. If you want a free consult, just go to turnkeypodcast.com/toolkit, and you can have a free consult and a whole bunch of other freebies on our site as well.
Okay.
Just rent it.
And
enter it.
I'm typing P's instead of O's.
That's all right. We get the feel. You know what you're doing. Is this on your personal page or is this on the Global Lounge page where you're broadcasting right now?
Nope. This is on my personal page and on my YouTube channel.
All right. So I'm going to go. I'll go and put. Am I the last one or is there somebody after me?
No, you're the last one, and we're all hopping over to Heather's now.
All right. Yeah. I'll see you. I'll see you on Heather's.
It's like a pub house party.
That's all right. It's a progressive. It's a crawl. We have a podcast.
Yeah, it's a pub crawl.
Oh my gosh, it's great. It's a podcast crawl. A pod
it's
crawl.
A podcast crawl. We got another name.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Michelle, very much for including me. Thank you for participating in the launch and all the support. And I'm looking forward to JVology Live just this coming weekend. So it's going to be a blast. I'm happy to be there.
Nice. Be epic. See you guys there.
See ya. Bye-bye.